Huracan will come from Ruidian at dawn and tie you with bonds you cannot break.
Just to be sure, there's a spoiler. A surprising development in the Wheel of Time Season 3 is a sign that the strongest weapon in the lore doesn't exist in the universe of the TV adaptation. All sorts of powerful objects occupy the Wheel of Time's world, with many divided up into certain categories, such as ter'angreal and Sangreal. Whereas ter'angreal have specific functions, Sangreal are more like actual weapons in that they greatly increase the channeler's one-power output. Sangreal are rare, though, as Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time books only dealt with a few of them. Clearly, Sangreal will be vital to the Wheel of Time Season 3's story. After all, the show has already discussed two of them. Sakarnen made its live-action debut in the 4th episode, and repeated mentions of Callandor indicate it too is on the horizon. As for the Choedan Kal, a Sangreal with power that surpasses both Sakarnen and Callandor, it may not have a place in the TV show. If that turns out to be true, that could have significant implications for its interpretation of the Shadow Rising, and perhaps what comes next as well.
The one who would lead all Aiel will come later, of the blood, but not raised by the blood.
Welcome to Movie Spy. The Wheel of Time Season 3, Episode 4 changes the power structure of the Sangreal. The Choedan Kal is supposed to be the strongest Sangreal. In the Wheel of Time Season 3, Episode 4, Latra explains that Sakarnen is the strongest Sangreal in existence and adds that it's the female counterpart to Callandor. What that means is that because men and women channel from different halves of the source, they don't use the same Sangreal. For a man, the most powerful Sangreal he could get his hands on would be Callandor, which is found in the Stone of Tyr. And for a woman, that would be Sakarnen, which is said to be the most powerful of them all. According to Latra, Callandor and Sakarnen are the two most powerful Sangreal around. Interestingly, what the show just explained about Sakarnen and Callandor doesn't match the lore laid out by Robert Jordan in the source material. In the books, it's understood that neither Callandor nor Sakarnen is the supreme Sangreal. Rather, this distinction belongs to the Choedan Kal. Another fact it changed is Sakarnen's status as a female counterpart to Callandor. The book version of Sakarnen is actually a male Sangreal, just like Callandor. Oddly, the show doesn't mention Choedan Kal at all, which indicates that, at the very least, it's been drastically weakened. Latra's line about Sakarnen and Callandor being the strongest Sangreal demonstrates that at best, the Choedan Kal is the third strongest Sangreal in the Wheel of Time. However, even that shouldn't be taken for granted, especially since the show hasn't shied away from significant lore changes in the past. The Wheel of Time may have merged Sakarnen with the Choedan Kal. With the show declining to include any reference to the Choedan Kal in the discussion of Sangreal, it's worth wondering if the series has removed it entirely. That would make sense of the series taking the other two to the top of the power structure when it comes to Sangreal. What's more, it would help explain why the series is using Sakarnen here in the first place. It's important to note that the book version of Sakarnen has no relevance to the history of the Aiel or Avendesora, nor was it included in the Shadow Rising's narrative. In fact, Sakarnen wasn't introduced until the series' final installment, A Memory of Light. It was sought out by Demandred, one of the 13 Forsaken in the Wheel of Time. Demandred gave it to Mazrim Time to advance his goal of killing Egwene Alvear. Obviously, that story doesn't relate at all to what's currently transpiring in the show. Moiraine Demandred, who obtained it in Episode 4, never had possession of Sakarnen in the Wheel of Time books. That demonstrates that the series is completely reworking Sakarnen's purpose in the story. There's also the matter of Sakarnen's design in the TV show. The book version of Sakarnen resembled a scepter, whereas the one from Prime Video's adaptation is a crystal ball. That could signal the show's intention to merge elements of the Choedan Kal with Sakarnen, as the former was described as a statue of a man clutching a crystal ball. What the Wheel of Time's changes to the Choedan Kal could mean for Season 3's story. The Wheel of Time may not include Rand and Asmodean's Ruidian fight. The Wheel of Time's changes to the Sakarnen and possible omission of the Choedan Kal would naturally have a massive impact on Season 3's story going forward. The Shadow Rising focused heavily on the search for the access keys to Choedan Kal, which would allow channelers to control the Sangreal remotely. This culminated in a fight between Rand and Asmodean over the access key in Ruidian at the end of the novel. There's still some confusion over the sudden introduction of Sakarnen, but on one hand, cutting out Choedan Kal does feel like a logical move in that it would streamline the narratives. Since Season 3 skipped over the Dragon Reborn, the show may be tasked with covering both its ending and the Shadow Risings. After all, it's been strongly implied that Rand's acquisition of Callandor has been moved, not cut. If so, Season 3 may need room for that development. With that in mind, it's possible that instead of ending Season 3 with a fight over the access keys in Ruidian, the Wheel of Time may bring Rand to Tyr. In such a scenario, Callandor could be the prize that Rand winds up fighting over. That could explain why Asmodean has been absent from Season 3's story thus far. Thanks for watching.